for it. All right, welcome everyone. Bob Madison here, Associate Director with Minnesota State High School League. This is going to be a recorded lead meeting that will assist you in hopefully beginning the school year on a good start on interpreting the policy changes to Bylaw 111. I'd also like to welcome our new ADs here at our schools. Again, welcome to being an activities administrator. Again, this will assist you in interpreting the new policy changes to Bylaw 111. Purpose of our lead meetings, again, are to assist you in the ability of leadership, education, administration, and development, and Bylaw 111 fits nicely into that. I'm also going to have Susie assisting me on this recording. If you hear me talk to her or about her, know that she's there assisting me as well. All right, the purpose again of this meeting is to assist you in the policy changes to Bylaw 111. Bylaw 111 defines eligibility for participation in league-sponsored athletic activities. This is also found in the handbook on pages 29 through 35 is what we'll be referencing. All right, the first slide is going to highlight, again, policy definitions for the bylaw. This is found on page 30 within the handbook. This is a really nice paragraph that hasn't changed, but it has been changed in terms of the order of where it is located. Please note the highlighted area. Again, a really nice descriptor about the philosophy on restricted movement when it comes to athletics with Minnesota State High School League. Again, this is language to share with your families that will assist as to whether or not Bylaw 111 applies to their situation. This would be a good paragraph to lead in parent presentation and our coaches' presentations around transfer and residence. All right, I'm going to continue to move on here. Note that much of this language is in italics. The reason that it is in italics is because it's policy. So as you work through the handbook, try and understand the difference between bylaw and policy. Again, the language we're working in today happens to be policy. When you're looking at whether or not a change of residence is bona fide, that's language that we use when you're working with a bona fide residence change. All of these, all 6 of the applications below should apply. Doesn't say that they all have to be met, but these are all items that you can use to say yes or no, this is a bona fide residence change. Number 5 is added language or new policy language that was recommended on homestead classification. So if you have questions about whether there's a primary residence or a secondary residence, their eligibility should lie where their homestead classification is. And that is information that they should be able to give you if, again, there is a bona fide residence change. All right, we're going to move on to policy exceptions. We spent a lot of time with this in Bylaw 111. There are 7 policy exceptions for Bylaw 111 if you are seeking a review. All right, so if the provisions of Bylaw 111 do not apply, those provisions haven't changed, and those are bylaw provisions. These are exceptions in policy to Bylaw 111. The most popular one that we get questions about is number 7. And because of the number of questions we get around number 7, I wanted to make sure that we highlight that language. All right. So that school administrators review, all right, is popular language that we continue to work with. When we look at the actual policy language within number 7, please know what you're agreeing to when you're working with another school. That these circumstances exist which warrant review of varsity eligibility by the Minnesota State High School League. The school administrators must identify the circumstances that exist and submit information and documentation to support the request for review of varsity eligibility. So what the two schools are agreeing on is that a review would take place at the league level with the eligibility committee that consists of board members of the Minnesota State High School League. So please know that is what you're agreeing to in a school administrator's review, and know that you are going to have to submit documentation, because I'm going to share that with you here in a bit on what that documentation looks like. All right, again, this is all located within the Minnesota State High School League handbook as well. All right, on to page 33 within the handbook. And what this does is it better breaks down what, again, would need to take place as we look and begin to look at a review. So if you are seeking a review, this is on page 33, please know that reviews by the eligibility committee begin the third week of August. So that'd be August 15th when you begin your sports and activities here for this year. The family would get 15 minutes as well. And the eligibility committee makes that eligibility determination. All right. The old language used to state that it was the first and third Wednesday of every month. We need a little more flexibility because we always couldn't meet on Wednesdays. We don't want to mislead our families, but those reviews take place the first and third weeks of the months, and we do not begin again until that third week of August. So as you start to enter items into the portal and are seeking a review, please know that we will not start looking at those for reviews until that third week of August or the first week of fall sports for this year. All right, moving on here. When we talk about that number 7, all right, within that number 7, we have new language. We're now in documentation requirements on page 34. So as I mentioned, as you're seeking a review, make sure it's applicable. All right. And make sure that when you're submitting those reviews, and now on page 34, what do the documentation requirements look like? So again, if we're talking about bullying under number 4, if you were to submit a review under number 4 for bullying, please note that it says a documented designated school staff member has investigated the report according to state statute. So if a student leaves, claims they were bullied, and the sending school does not have that documented investigative bullying report, that transfer would then remain insufficient, all right? Or you would be noted that it is insufficient because it did not meet those requirements. So the language that has changed within the documentation requirements truly is under number 7. Something that I think will really assist you as a school administrator is what number 7 is not intended for. So very specifically now, if a family comes to you and says, we didn't like our school, or we'd like a faith-based school, or we'd like an online school, or they didn't have the correct offerings in terms of co-curriculars or athletics, very specifically now under number 7, under documentation requirements, it says items that will not be reviewed for number 7 are very specific regarding school choice, family choice, so on and so forth. Again, share this with your family. Share this with students if they ask, making sure that, again, it is not intended for these items. All right. I apologize for the phone call there. I just hung up on a former board member, but we're going to keep moving here. On to number 9. All right. On page 34 of the handbook, again, making sure number 7, very specifically, what school choice, family choice, curricular choice, co-curricular offerings, those will not be getting additional review. Those would be deemed insufficient. All right, the last thing I'm going to share with you in new policy language is our flow chart is new. Again, found on page 34, something to share with families in the handbook. Again, from start to finish, what their review process looks like when it comes to Bylaw 111. All right, we will get this recording out to you. This is something that you can save. Again, use this as you start to determine eligibility around Bylaw 111, transfer and residence. These are highlights of the new language, policy language included in Bylaw 111. Hopefully you found this meeting beneficial. I apologize for the interruption with the phone call. Appreciate Susie assisting with this. And we look forward to seeing you and hope your school year gets off to a great start. Thank you.